Well, Fambul, today the Conga Media Network, they na the Central Medical Stores, Usai we come na the EPI office, for come talk to the person where they in charge of vaccine under the Ministry of Health and Sanitation, where he dey with me, he will tell me who that's na in.
Okay, thank you very much. Me na Dr. Tom Sise. Me na the program manager for the Child Health and EPI program. We are the program responsible for vaccination in the country. I also the head the vaccine pillar lead in the vaccine pillar in NACOVAC. So I'm also the vaccine pillar lead in NACOVAC as well.
Welcome to this interview, Doctor.
Very much.
First, let we start for look at who side the country dey at the moment when it comes to vaccine business.
I think we don't make a lot of progress. I think we all can recall the fact that on the 15th of March, when we start vaccination in this country, there was a lot of suspicion. A lot of people they get a lot of misinformation about COVID vaccination. People will not be sure at all whether it's safe for people, and so many questions. So, of course, with the leadership of His Excellency the President of this country, we happen to be the first person who receive the COVID vaccine, and then followed by other leaders in government, political leaders, and then leaders and senior people in the Ministry of Health and Sanitation. I think that helped a lot for break that doubt and that obstacle of lack of confidence in the vaccine. So we see since then vaccination only improve. Initially, the main problem we get is the lack of adequate vaccines, but now I think we only surmount that as well. Now we get good numbers of vaccines. So over the months, we don't reach a stage where over 400,000 Sierra Leoneans don't receive at least one dose of COVID vaccine. And that means if we look at the population really above 18 years, about 10% of the population in this country above 18 years don't receive at least one dose of COVID vaccines. Of course, we still get challenges in the fact that we get some people who don't get the first dose, they not come for the second dose, maybe because of various reasons, and also because from time to time we can get stock out of some vaccines. So it's only now that we just don't get AstraZeneca vaccines. A lot of people will take AstraZeneca vaccine as the first dose, and it not be available for some time. So now we try to prioritize ensuring that people receive their second dose, so that when you get your second dose, you are fully vaccinated. But now we are happy that we don't get the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. We just need to get a single shot, and that will make you be fully vaccinated. So that will help for improve on the number of people in the country we don't fully vaccinated. That number stands about 140,000 so we get full vaccination.
As we talk
right now.
Okay. Doctor, you mentioned about the first vaccine them we in Canada country we Sierra Leoneans them being done the take we require the 3 dose. The 2 dose. Now you talk about the Johnson & Johnson, we just required 1 shot or 1 dose. Tell me, where to make this require 2 doses and where to make the Johnson & Johnson require 1 dose?
Yeah, so at the time when they develop vaccines, they can do a lot of studies where they refer to as clinical trials. And in other words, in the lab environment, and the initial set of volunteers, when they give people the vaccine, and they monitor the immune response, and based on then studies they did, it shows for most of the other vaccines, somebody need to get 2 doses for it will get the sustained immune response for it will protect them for a prolonged period. But in those studies as well, it shows for the Johnson & Johnson, with just a single dose, enough for stimulate the immune system to a level where it will provide protection for a significant period. So in other words, the determination of whether you require 1 or 2 doses is informed by the studies, clinical trials, the results of those studies, and the evidence we generated from those studies shows 1 dose of Johnson & Johnson is enough for give people the required level of protection against COVID infection.
So what's the overall target of people where una the target for take this vaccine?
Well, for now, as a country, we strategic targets that for vaccinate people way above 18 years of age. 4,800,000 people, approximately 5 million people, Now then are the target for 18 years and above, So so out of that number, like I said earlier, over 400,000 we don't give them first dose. We try to see how we'll get them for also receive a second dose for a 2-dose vaccine. But sometimes in other countries now, they give picking them, and that is why when we do what we call coverage calculations, we actually look at the total population. So that we can say, okay, 4% of Sierra Leoneans don't receive at least one dose, because in other countries now, they don't so do well with population above 18 years that now they reduce the age to 12 years and above. But for now, as a country, we target people over 18 years, and we do about 4.8 to 5 million people.
Within that age brackets, at the moment, the one that we don't take, are able for get a range at which you say, now then specific people here, so they come out more for take the vaccine?
Well, I think they do very well with healthcare workers, because the data they show say over 60, close to 65% of healthcare workers, both in the formal and informal sector, as well as community level, we don't reach them with at least one dose of COVID vaccination. So that's one group we do very well for. But we got specific groups that we actually focus on and we try to reach out to. For example, people over 60 years, now a priority group for we didn't do too well for that group. Now we don't try for send out a public notice that if you get somebody when they are above 60 years, you can call 117 and we'll try to get a mobile vaccination team for go, even if not at home, to go and ensure that we vaccinate them.
So nothing saying that the movement make them maybe come out?
Well, it can be said that one of the reasons, because a lot of people in the country above 60, they cannot be afflicted with so many sickness or ailments who will limit their movement, So that's what we're doing. But on the whole, the younger age groups between 18 and 30 to 40 years, and the majority of the people we target. We don't get programs targeting like bike riders. We don't also get programs targeting footballers. We don't target the national teams, and then we also encourage also have vaccination teams in some of the football matches, so that people can also receive vaccination. Because for me a proponent that if you go to an event with entertainment, for the safety of others, it's very important for you demonstrate proof of vaccination. But I think we make a lot of progress in that, and even at the community level, at the chiefdom level, we don't reach out. We see very good uptake in areas like Kailaung, Kenema and Kailaung districts. They do extremely well, and then followed by both districts. Western Urban also is doing very well. Incidentally, we don't cover a very good proportion of people in the Western Urban.
Okay, make me look at another key issue we get to do with age. Earlier on, you mentioned, say, the developing countries or America and other countries, and they don't reduce the age, like 12 years now, they're able to take the COVID vaccine. When it comes to the age, under this Johnson & Johnson vaccine, will I get any approach when it comes to the age?
Well, for Johnson & Johnson, we are going by the target of 18 years and above.
Still, we stand at 18.
Yes, we stand with that. For Pfizer, most of the countries will go below 18 years now with Pfizer vaccine. And we follow change with national policy. Of course, we get a technical group, we then call the National Immunization Technical Advisory Group. We can not always need to convene that group today. We will discuss with the available experts, look at the evidence, and then then the group can now advise, say, okay, let us reduce on the age based on the weight of evidence we are available out there. So we get discussions about that, and probably that's something we may discuss in that group, and then we'll advise the Ministry of Health, NACOVAC, that with whatever recommendation we bring out from the technical advice group.
Okay.
But suffice it to say, for now, we are targeting 18 years above for all the vaccines that will get available in the country.
Okay, another area where we get to look at now the different target group them, whether woman and mama they really give Bobby, and another set of people them we critical in terms of giving medication to.
Yeah.
Waiting, how wanna they target or how wanna they make provision for them, and for take them, if yes, why, and if no, why?
So what I would say is that the COVID vaccines are all safe for pregnant women and lactating mothers. In other words, Combra. The vaccines are safe for all of them. So as at the last time we get a technical discussion, we may just say, okay, let us leave the pregnant women out for the time being, for the simple reason that pregnancy is a very delicate process, and miscarriages are common. They can happen anywhere. You understand? And we don't want situations where somebody will get miscarriage and attribute them to the vaccine. You understand? But except in a situation where, the level of COVID transmission very high in a particular area, then we advise the pregnant woman for them to take the COVID vaccine. But for now, in as much as the evidence shows that it is safe for pregnant women, it is for lactating mothers, of course, they can take them. There's no problem. You understand? But just for we don't get a situation where we undermine the vaccination process and affect the credibility of our vaccination process. And make we say for now, let we not give to the woman. But it's actually safe for them. You understand? But
and then don't they take them?
Well, like we say, looking at the data we will get so far, we not get much of pregnant women taking the vaccines. Yeah.
What about the Combra then?
No, the Combra they take them. The Combra they take them, yes. And it's we always give the Combra.
Okay. Doctor, there's so much room around the COVID vaccine if you take one, where some people get a fear, but when we look at it, we get for do with the expiring date. This now be one thing where people really go out with say the previous vaccine we wanna be even though expire at a particular time. How you will clarify this?
Well, no qualified medical practitioner will administer a vaccine will not expire. As a matter of fact, if I this Thursday, we got some vaccine that will be expired a long time ago. In fact, the only time we vaccine expired was around April. You understand? But because they lay all over across the country, it takes time for collector, and later this week we will therefore dispose of them vaccines then they. So we don't get any the last set of vaccines, them, the AstraZeneca and all of them, we make sure that we use them before they expired. So we always try to ensure that we use the vaccines before they expire. We know they give expired vaccines at all.
What in this they do this vaccine when they give out to family? Somebody who want to know what they really make a particular, why important to make a particular, how it will help somebody.
Yeah, so that's a very interesting question. I think the way I will respond to that is the fact that Sierra Leone will find itself in a global world. And currently we face what they call a pandemic which affects every country across the world. And we not to an isolated nation, we will be outside. We are also human beings. And all the scientific evidence they show say COVID they actually affect human beings and they lead to illnesses and death. Right? And also evidence don't show say for you to protect yourself against COVID, you need to take the vaccine. I think one of the challenges we'll get now the fact that Sierra Leone are a very young population. We don't get too many old people there. You know, then country have people, but people will die before they reach 60 years. So as a result, even if people are infected, a lot of people can carry on and just get a mild fever and all, you know. They might not even know that they are infected with COVID. But the general consensus globally is that even if you are a young person, where not they at risk of succumbing or at risk of dying or getting serious illness from COVID, it's better that you take the vaccine, one, for protect yourself from getting infected, and if you are not infected, you know, go pass the infection to some old pa, we're very vulnerable, when you get he will die. You understand? So it's not just about your own personal protection, but it's also your contribution to the safety and the well-being of the community. Not only you as a country, but also globally. You understand? Because even the whole world will go open if we all not succeed for end the COVID pandemic. You understand? So every country gets a moral responsibility for ensure that it take the right public health steps for ensure that we end COVID. Because if COVID end all over the world, then Sierra Leone no take the right steps, we not get ourselves vaccinated, then everybody dey close doors per week. You understand? No go allow we for go no side. They say the people in there, then so most of them infected with COVID infection, COVID virus. And these are recommendations they are born out of scientific evidence, WHO, CDC, and we have your own expertise locally. We see the evidence because even in terms of admissions now the COVID treatment center, we see say most of the people now, or the few people now where they get out admitted, you know, most of them have not been vaccinated. You understand? You know, so we have local evidence, there is global evidence, there is international evidence that, you know, the vaccine they actually prevents you from getting the infection, but in order to stop you from getting 100% from getting infected, you can get infected. But when you get infected, you are unlikely to say you will get serious illness or you know will die. You understand? And then of course it will reduce your chances of transmitting to somebody else. So these are the benefits why it's very important, you know, for people get vaccinated, you know, so that we can end the outbreak in the country and also contribute to ending the pandemic globally.
Okay. Well, Fambul, continue for the way to inside this interview. We then at the New Englandville office of the head where he can to API business at the Ministry of Health and Sanitation when Dr. Thomas say. Doctor, if you look at another thing where he can to COVID vaccine, the side effects then. From where we start to give this vaccine at the country from March. What are some of the side effect cases them where we don't see?
Yeah, so as like with any medication, you know, some people can get side effects, some no will get at all. Even when you take malaria treatment, some people can get certain symptoms, some no will get. So it's not different from the COVID vaccine, you know. The incidence of side effects go there around between 5 to 10% of people. The most common include some man can get fever, body can warm, you know. Some man will tell me will get serious pain at the sides, you know. Some man can get tornado, dizziness, you know. Some man can feel tired, you know. Those are some of the common side effects where we don't see. And a couple of people can report because we encourage people. If they get side effects, for call 117 and ensure that they report and explain exactly. If it's serious, then of course we can also try to see how we will step in and try to help the individual, you know. So those side effects do occur, and but at the same time, we also respond to any incident or health issue after vaccination. We get, for example, what they call coincidental events. You understand? What do I mean by that? We get a case when we get urgent call in the weekend. It was a Sunday, they plan for going to church. All of a sudden, we get this distress call. You know, of course, I was also very worried. They say this person, he could die just now. His body don't, since he don't take the vaccine, his body all don't warm, he don't helpless, he don't, you know. So I was worried. I reach out, ensure that try to get an ambulance for go take him. Care and go to the Rukupa hospital, the doctor see him, assess him, you know. and it happens say you get malaria, you understand? And then they put
And
on
some
malaria
maybe don't
treatment.
take the vaccine.
Yeah, they don't take the vaccine, yes. You understand? So they put on treatment, and by the time later on I decided, say, okay, let me go to the hospital to go see this guy. And I don't even able to recognize him because he was okay, he was strong, and moving around. And the doctor say, hey, look at patients where they say they die just now. Understand? It happened to say he had malaria. So this is one of the challenges we will face, understand? Because vaccination has not meant that other sickness that they don't. No, you can sick of, you can get typhoid, you can get malaria, you can get hypertension, diabetes, and all of that. You understand? But we get incidents where people can get some other condition, but because they don't take the vaccine, then they will give a call, say, okay, they are having this symptom because of the vaccination, which is usually not the case.
So normally before they give the shot, then can you ask somebody medical status?
Yeah, of course. I mean, in fact, we don't recommend for letting be anybody where they run a fever or we visibly ill or we sick, we get severe illness. But of course, if you have chronic condition, we recommend that you take the vaccine because it's better for you we get diabetes, hypertension, or other chronic illness for take the vaccine because if you get you underlying condition, then COVID infection coincide, you know, there's a likelihood that you can get an adverse outcome. You understand? You know, so we can as part of the screening process, you know, they can ask them questions, you know, but if they find out say you are sick, you get a temperature above 38 degrees centigrade, then they will advise that you don't take the vaccine for that moment. Yeah.
Vaccine self gets for do with resistance. Some people system we hear this time we medically like refer to as a resistance to this drug or to this vaccine. What does this mean, and if we don't take cases of that?
Resistance to COVID vaccine. Honestly, wetin they can look at, you know, scientists can look at before the vaccine come out to the public, they can do what they call efficacy studies. So the efficacy study now for sure in an environment where transmission they happen and people then where they receive the vaccine, to what extent the vaccine prevents them from getting infected. You understand? And if the efficacy, they can get a figure. If it's over 60%, you understand, then that vaccine is good. You understand? But like I said earlier, the vaccine don't mean say 100% it prevents you from getting infection, right? But as long as it's above 60, you get some the way efficacy can be 90%, 95%, 70%. You understand? So all the vaccine in there at the end of the day, they are good at preventing COVID infection, right? But if at all it come below 40%, 30%, you know, maybe you go say maybe there's resistance to that vaccine or whatever. You know, go even pass the regulatory settings at global level and at national level. You understand? Because before any vaccine get WHO get a license, there should be evidence that it gets very good efficacy and even very good effectiveness from all the clinical trials they already do across the world.
So doctor, what about the case wherein when I get duration, like the 2 dose where on been give, go say okay, well, where you don't take until they maybe come the next 2 weeks, for example. If somebody not come maintain in the we can get some of that kind of thing where you can to resistance.
This resistance issue, all the vaccines are good. None of them get resistance. I mean, at the moment, all the vaccines are effective. So even if you don't work
with the time, it's still effective?
It is recommended that you get your second dose in a particular window. And incidentally, sometimes even when you delay, sometimes the immune response can be better. You understand? You know? So normally you get a window of a couple of months where you can take them. But just for let me get one, you know, one for let somebody can take them long after they take their first dose, where they can forget and all the rest of it. You understand? You know, so we therefore as a country decide on a particular interval, say okay, if not 8 weeks, we decide on 8 weeks, if not 4 weeks or 3 weeks, we say 3 weeks. You understand? But if you don't come at that point, don't mean say if you come later, you know, get a good response. No, you will still get a very good response.
Okay.
Yeah.
UK now one country where they put Salon on a red list, say we get boku or plenty case of COVID infected people where they become positive. But we still say this BNTM, they pull it from that list there. But one key area they're not able to recognize with vaccination certificates. Why this?
Yeah, so I think you don't begin go areas that really above my own pay grade, you know, because you have these international political issues where the vaccine they all use now. So, in fact, a lot of them come out from the COVAX facility. When at the same country, we give them vaccine, them, and then they now say they know they accept those vaccines. I think it's a political issue, and it's very important for the African Union, you know, come together, you know, and actually fight some of this injustice, because that's the way I see it, you know, because if you they mobilize vaccines and you give it people, give it user, and then we go to the country, you say no, I don't recognize them. I think that is unfair, it's unjust, and I think say with political leaders, you know, not only in Sierra Leone but as an African Union, we need to speak out against those things.
Well,
And I think say that they happen now. I think that they happen. I think say we political leaders, there's a lot of engagement on those issues, you know. So fingers crossed. I'm sure that's a challenge that we'll eventually overcome.
Well, as we round up this interview, Doctor, the thing we get for do with UK business, we society ACC, they pull out a press release, also them catch some health workers and they sell this COVID-19 certificate. What do you take on this? And waiting on I don't put in place for stop because somebody know they not take the vaccine, then in get rights to the vaccination card.
Yeah, I think first of all I want to congratulate the ACC. I also want to congratulate the whistleblowers because we serve them invite we go to ACC, we go look at the interview, we give you your own side of the issue. You know, and that is what is expected. You know, when there's rule of law, when people break the law, they should be identified and apprehended, and they will not take in course. Go, we are medical people. I know we're gonna treat the corona people. What we do is that we ensure that everybody that receives the vaccination is given a card. You understand? But if somebody go on the vaccination site and then go thief some card, go begin they go do QQ business, that's a criminal issue. You understand? And that's why the security forces also get for help in ensuring that in fact Sierra Leoneans generally, I think if you agree but they can't say they happen in any area, you know, you need for raise them up, you need for raise the flag and notify the security forces, and then if we still get the information, of course we go pass it on to the required agencies then for do the right investigations. What we do is to track every card we go to every location, make sure that somebody signs for it, somebody receives it and signs, and that even when the card is issued, the issuing facility signs on the card. You know, so those are the things that we can do. You know, but beyond that, if somebody they go thief the card or whatever, you know, and criminals can, I mean, they can do a lot of things, you know, but we try to do best to ensure that we track the movement of the card, which side they go, how it's going, and we'll be able to actually account for the cards that we will issue out.
Okay, for take the COVID vaccine at the moment, it's not free?
Certainly, COVID vaccination is free, you know, and you can go now to, in fact, most of the health facilities we get across the country now, we get COVID vaccines available. You can just walk in, and as long as you are Sierra Leone, as long as you are in Sierra Leone, you can
even
go to
foreigners.
Yeah, as long as you are in Sierra Leone, you know, you are residents in Sierra Leone, then you can go and get it for free.
How about people with travel? How it handle? Because we really say people for pay something like $700,000, $50 to take the COVID vaccine.
Well, that is news to me, and I'm not aware. And
So if somebody they travel, not free.
Not free. Even if you travel, it's free. You don't pay for COVID vaccination.
So how
Because in fact, when you go now, a vaccination site. Nobody will ask you whether na travel or not. You just go to a health facility and come, you see, you don't come for your vaccination, and then they issue and administer it to you.
So how it sound like now with airports them on accept the vaccine airports?
At the moment, we don't get a station vaccination team at the airport because we expect see even before you complete your travel arrangements, if you don't receive your vaccine at the vaccination sites.
How about people when they come into the country?
Well, we know set it up. The only thing is there's a health facility close to the airport. So if there are people who need to receive their vaccine, they can go to that facility and get the COVID vaccine.
People go on for hearing a message from you as a way of assurance for say really this vaccine is safe, I forgot to come for safeguard people around me and even myself. What will be your message?
Well, I think what I would say is that over 550,000 doses of vaccines, COVID vaccines have been administered in Sierra Leone to Sierra Leoneans. I think that in itself, that is more than 10% of the population of this country. We don't receive COVID vaccines, and I think we don't get any major incidents. So I think that in itself, a level of assurance about the safety of the COVID vaccine. So all we will encourage people is that if you are taking a 2-dose vaccine, please ensure that go back at the dates when they give you for let you take your second dose, because not only then you will get full protection against COVID infection. So continue to encourage Sierra Leoneans that we not take the vaccine yet. Let them make sure that they make use of the opportunity. You don't want to forget the situation where you urgently need the vaccine and they're not available. As we don't see from time to time, we don't run out of AstraZeneca. Now we have even the best vaccine the world can offer. One of the best vaccines, the Pfizer vaccine, we get at the country. So, but it's not going to be around forever. So I just want to encourage people, try and get your first dose, and when you do for second dose, make sure that you get your second dose. You never know what's going to happen down the line. Ensure that you are safe, your family is safe, and the country is also safe. So that personal contribution we all make for the safety and well-being of our contemporaries, for the people of this country, I think we get a responsibility of making that contribution.